Holy crap, Wilderness Boss Rework Design Blog. Ooh. How's it going, guys? This is the Wilderness Boss Rework Design Blog. It is currently August 19th. I was going to make this video yesterday, but I ended up getting drunk because I was celebrating. Many people have been wanting the Wilderness to be expanded or updated, refined. It looks like they've put a lot of focus into this, so hopefully something is gonna happen. If they put it in the polls, you already know some Halo 2 chocolate-covered neckbeard is gonna be like,
well, this actually is really bad for my Iron Man.
you better knock that shit off. Anyway, let's go ahead and read this. I love you guys, by the way. Fair warning, this entire video is just me reading this blog. I'm literally just reading it with a little bit of reactions here and there. But this is damn near an audiobook. Enjoy. A bear, a spider, and a skeleton walk into a bar. The bear is proficient with magic, but can't navigate rocks. The spider is rendered useless by being hit with a pointy object every 1.8 seconds. And even thinking about the skeleton means a whole gang of PKers materialize out of thin air and murder you in cold blood. The bar isn't really relevant, but these patrons sure are bizarre. Basically what they're saying by that is there are 3 entities that have bizarre interface. And if you're not familiar with that directly, then all you really gotta know is that Venenatis, Callisto, and Vedion can all be safe spotted super easy. And if you weren't safe spotting them, then they're so powerful it is impossible to solo damn near. So having that said, let's go into Jagex's plan for the Wilderness Boss rework. On March 13, 2014, 8 years ago by the way, we released the Wilderness Rejuvenation blog. This blog detailed the Wilderness Resource Area, Edgeville Lever, Wilderness God Wars Dungeon, Fountain of Rune, Looten Bag, Dark Crabs, extra rune rocks, and of course, the Wilderness bosses. There were 3 intended to be fought on your own, the Crazy Archaeologist, the Chaos Fanatic, and Scorpia, and 3 you need to bring your friends to take down, Venenatis, Callisto, and Vedion. The Wilderness Boss rework aims to revitalize the latter group to bring them up to our modern standards for bossing. These 3 bosses were initially intended to be challenging multi-combat encounters, which would incentivize adventurers to band together to take them down. However, the ingenuity of players clearly knows no bounds, and all 3 of them can be fought with very little interaction, completely solo, and with some pretty unusual save spot mechanics. Currently, Callisto, Venenatis, and Vedion have extraordinary defense values. They hit extremely hard, and don't particularly care about your prayer either. This all makes them perhaps a little too punishing. It's no wonder players have found such creative ways to defeat them and secure pets, the dragon pickaxe, or other wilderness rings. We want to deliver a proper multi-combat group boss experience, with interesting mechanics, the ability to keep topped up between kills in case PvP combat breaks out, and rewards that make the risk worth taking. If you're just trying to secure some sweet drops but are dreading the thought of multi-combat, don't fret, little iron neckbeard. Keep on reading, because this rework has something for everybody.
I'm not gonna read the rest of this. I'm going straight to Reddit and letting all my boys know.
Just kidding. Okay, let's keep reading. Sorry. The Wilderness Boss layers. To properly rework these bosses, we need to go deeper. Quite literally, we put them in a big old cave. We'll detail a few more additions to the wilderness surface later on, but bear, or spider, or skeleton with us for now. Each of the bosses will have a unique entrance to its lair somewhere on the wilderness surface. There are no entry requirements, you'll just need to bring a bit of gold, gear up, and be ready for battle with bosses and players alike. Players will be able to peek inside the lair entrances to see if anybody's lurking inside, but won't be given specific numbers. Jeez bro, ooh. I'm starting to get a little excited. This is cool. This means that the somebody inside the lair could be a single person taking the boss down solo, a small team of players fighting the boss as a group, or a whole team waiting to pounce on anybody brave enough to risk entering. Oh my god. Once you've entered the boss lair, you can't leave the way that you came in. You'll have to either fight your way through the boss or try to evade its attacks to get to the lair's exit. Upon exiting any given boss lair, you'll weave your way through a web of dark tunnels and find yourself at one of the 3 randomly selected locations inside the escape caves. Any player exiting the same boss lair as you within 10 seconds will be able to follow you to the same location in the escape caves. The escape caves are also multi-combat. Between the random exits and these NPCs, we aim to discourage players from camping outside exits or hopping through worlds while inside. The trick's in the name: run, escape. Even though you'll find yourself at a randomly selected boss lair exit, each of them is themed with a little unique flair from each of the bosses. Evade any would-be assailants and stay quick on your feet to find one of the 4 exits and continue your daring escape across the wilderness surface. Players trying to enter boss lairs or the escape caves will be asked to pay a fee, currently set at 50k, which is dropped to any player who might slay you. This fee will decrease by 10k for each successive kill where you are the MVP. So 5 boss kill MVPs will guarantee you free entry after your next death. The exact values on these fees and decreases are something we'd be especially interested in hearing feedback on. We want to discourage people from ragging on bossers en masse, without prohibiting regular players from getting stuck into fun mid-game boss encounters. Here's a handy map of the escape caves. Note that even though the boss lair exits are themed to their respective bosses, players will always find themselves at a random exit when fleeing, unless they're tailing another player. The wilderness bosses. Sounds dangerous? Good. But why would you ever take the risk? For your brave endeavors, you can expect to see much better rewards than the current wilderness boss offerings. We're aiming for a GP per hour rate in line with content like Vorkath or the Alchemical Hydra, but with much lower requirements. We reckon that will offset the risk you'll be taking. In terms of difficulty, the wilderness bosses should feel intuitive enough to let you focus on the potential threat of other players. On top of riches, you'll be able to secure a handful of new uniques targeting various current wilderness offerings. More on that later.
But Jagex, what if I'm not into the whole multi-combat thing?
Are you still not convinced? Looking for something a little less nerve-wracking? You're just after the pet and maybe a ring or two? We've got you covered, little Billy Jacob. While we want to deliver on the initial intent of a multi-combat, high-risk group bossing experience, we understand that even with plentiful rewards, multi-combat wilderness bossing is not going to be everyone's idea of fun. We'd like to offer a toned-down, single-way combat equivalent of each of the 3 bosses. These guys would likely sit around or below level 30 wilderness and would be mechanically simpler encounters than their multi-combat counterparts, while still retaining the unique identity of each boss. The aim here is to provide a safer alternative that isn't totally devoid of risk, with encounters that will let you prepare for potential attacks with switches, freezes, and plenty of supplies. We'd like to balance these variants so that the time to complete for any boss collection log entry is roughly the same, if not shorter, than at present, while having less specific gear requirements and more intuitive mechanics. The real deal. Enough about safer alternatives, let's talk about the big 3. Callisto. You might have noticed that Callisto is a massive bear. We'd like to make him act like one. Throughout this fight, Callisto will constantly run towards a target and attempt to attack with devastating melee attack, and he couldn't care less whether you're praying or not. While he's retained his immunity to magic damage, he's now vulnerable to freezes, so if you've already poked the bear, consider asking him to chill out with an ice barrage or 2. If he's unable to attack a player, Callisto has a handful of other attacks to keep players on their toes. He gets particularly angry below a certain HP threshold, altering the fight significantly. Holy crap, Venenatis. What's worse than 1 spider? 2? 3? A seemingly overwhelming number of them with an unrelenting hunger for prayer points? Probably the last one. Venenatis should feel a lot more like a spider matriarch, and will summon a number of spiderlings throughout the fight. The number of spiderlings summoned varies based on the number of players in the room. Yo, this is actually pretty well thought out and interesting, huh? Thankfully, they're not too resilient. A quick whack with any weapon you can get your hands on should see them off. Make sure to deal with them quickly, as they're hell-bent on running you down and draining your prayer with every attack. Venenatis likes her personal space and will make every effort to move away from players so that she can bombard them with a deluge of ranged and magic attacks. These attacks get stronger for every spiderling left alive, so it's imperative that you keep on top of your pest control. And we're not talking about Void Knights. I love this game, bro. Vetsion. Before we talk about the fight itself, we should probably address the skeleton in the room. When compared to Callisto and Venenatis, Vetion's model isn't in line with what we've come to expect after so many years of Old School. Here's a work in progress look at Vetion's remodel. He's due some fancy new animations too, so keep an eye out for future blogs showing those off. Our art team have worked to bring Vetion's model up to scratch while trying to retain as much of his identity as possible. He's still a big ol' skeleton, he's still equipped with a fancy apesh, and he's still sporting his signature, what shade of purple even is that, armor. For any of you lucky enough to call Vetion Jr. a companion, we'll be giving players the option to transform its appearance between the old and reworked model. Taking on Vetion is all about awareness and positioning. He'll make use of his apesh and lightning magic to keep you on your toes throughout the fight. We've also given Vetion some defense training, which he's put to great use in a potent defensive position. If you see his shield raised, hold your fire, or you'll risk a pretty nasty deflect. His signature skeletal hellhounds will make a return, requiring your full attention while Vetion peppers the room with lightning attacks. If that didn't sound like enough to deal with, after running out of health for the first time, Vetion enters phase 2. You know, the orange one. The orange armor has lower defense than its purple equivalent, but Vetion more than makes up for it with an increased max hit and faster attack speed. Rewards. On top of a better GP per hour, we've added in a few unique rewards to build on existing wilderness content. Read on for a long overdue buff, some devastating attachments, and the return of a fan favorite.
Oh my. What?
Thamarone Scepter. This one's already in the game. Compared to the other wilderness weapons, crossbow and Vigorous chainmace, Thamarone Scepter feels a little lackluster. Alongside the boss rework, we'll be reworking the scepter to a powered staff with a max hit equal to your magic level divided by 3 minus 8 and an attack speed of 4 on top of a plus 15 magic attack bonus. This means that at 99 magic, you'll be hitting up to 25 magic damage every 4 ticks or cycles. Unlike other powered staves, this new and improved offering would be able to hit players. Since crossbow and Vigorous chainmace function pretty nicely for getting a little extra damage off while escaping, we didn't want to shortchange magic users. The wilderness bonus would be changed from plus 100% accuracy and plus 25% damage to plus 50% accuracy and plus 50% damage against NPCs within the wilderness for the Scepter's standard attack. The same bonus would also apply to non-powered spells cast with the staff equipped, though the Scepter cannot auto-cast any spells. Both the regular attack and any other spells cast while wielding Thamarone Scepter would consume Ether. Now for some rewards. What better way to celebrate a Thamarone Scepter buff with another Thamarone Scepter buff? What? A Cursed Scepter. The Skull of Vetion will be a rare, tradable drop from Vetion. What a shocker. A player with 85 crafting can combine the skull with Thamarone Scepter to obtain the Accursed Scepter. If you don't have 85 crafting, Andros Mai and the Ferox Enclave will combine them for 500k. The Accursed Scepter is a tradable upgrade to the reworked Thamarone Scepter, with a magic attack of 22 and a max hit equal to your magic level divided by 3 minus 6. This means that at 99 magic, you'll be hitting up to 27 magic damage every 4 ticks or cycles. Wow. This accursed upgrade also gains a special attack, Condemn. Condemn costs 50% special attack energy and performs an attack with 50% increased max hit and 50% increased accuracy. On a successful hit, the target's defense and magic are reduced by up to 15%. Oh my god! Defense and magic reduction from Condemn cannot be lowered beyond 85% of their initial value. For a target with 80 defense and 80 magic, Condemn cannot reduce these stats any lower than 68. Here's a graph showing how both the new Thamarone Scepter and Accursed Scepter compare with other staves. Web Weaver Bow. The Fangs of Venenatis will be a rare tradable drop from Venenatis. Again, huge surprise. A player with 85 fletching can combine them with a crossbow to make a Web Weaver bow. Alternatively, Fabel Bile and the Ferox Enclave can combine them for 500k. The Web Weaver bow is a tradable upgrade for crossbow. It requires 70 range to wield, has 85 ranged attack bonus, and 65 ranged strength, compared to crossbow 75 ranged attack and 60 ranged strength, and gains a special attack, Swarm. Swarm costs 50% special attack energy and unleashes 4 attacks in rapid succession with increased accuracy. Each of these attacks is capped at 40% damage, theoretically maxing out at 160% damage if every attack max hits. On top of this, successful attacks have a chance to inflict What the hell? They put the word inflict twice, bro. What are you trying to do, bro? On top of this, successful attacks have a chance to inflict poison on hit, starting out at 4 poison damage. Here's a graph showing how the Web Weaver bow stacks up against other ranged weaponry. Urson Chain Mace. The Claws of Callisto will be a rare tradable drop from the Deranged Archaeologist. Just kidding, it's Callisto. A player with 85 Smithin can combine them with Vigora's Chain Mace to make an Urson Chain Mace. Alternatively, Durst Venator in the Ferox Enclave can combine them for 500k. The Urson Chain Mace is a tradable upgrade for Vigora's Chain Mace. It requires 70 attack to wield, has 71 crush attack bonus, and 74 melee strength bonus, compared to Vigora's Chain Mace, 67 crush attack bonus and 66 melee strength bonus. And gains a special attack, Bear Down. Bear Down costs 50% special attack energy and hits with 100% improved accuracy. If Bear Down hits, it deals 15 damage over 6 seconds and drains 50% run energy over the same time. If a target has 0% run energy, the damage dealt will be doubled. What? Here's a graph showing how the Urson Chain Mace stacks up against other melee offerings. While we're here, let's talk about the Dragon Pickaxe. We understand many players' long-standing concerns about such an impactful skilling upgrade being locked behind high-risk activities.
Finally, bro. Jagex has finally understood that every single item in the game should be able to be grinded for in a peaceful manner.
On top of including the Dragon Pickaxe on the single-way combat equivalents outlined earlier in the blog, as a remedial action, we'd like to do the following. Adjust the Dragon Pickaxe's drop rate from the King Black Dragon to 1 in 1000, down from 1 in 1500. Add the Dragon Pickaxe to the Calphite Queen's drop table at 1 in 400. This would be a longer grind than the existing bosses, but a safer alternative.
Oh, hell yeah. That sounds way better for me and my group Iron Man.
The Calphite Queen could use a little love, and sat alongside the King Black Dragon as an endgame PvM encounter on Old School's initial release. Bro, I already know there's someone out there that's gonna be upset that the Calphite Queen's gonna be able to drop that pickaxe. They're gonna be like,
are you kidding me? I'm like 8,000 KC. I could have had a pickaxe. This game is trash.
We'd be open to attaching it to some more high-level skilling content such as Volcano, or some slightly riskier skilling content like the Volcanic Mine. That about wraps it up for the rewards. Oh, the return of the fan favorite? Of course, you're right. Let's talk about the Void Waker. What? Some kind of a PvP weapon with void associations? It rings a bell, but nothing familiar is staring back at us right now. Each of the 3 bosses will drop a piece of the separated Void Waker, the blade, hilt, and crystal. As components, these items are tradable. An NPC beneath the Old Knight. I just got chills, bro. An NPC beneath the Old Knight, rest in peace, will offer to reassemble the Void Waker for 500k. The completed Void Waker is also tradable and behaves like any other item on death. The Void Waker is a tier 75 melee weapon requiring 75 attack, 75 strength, and 60 magic. Whoa. On top of offering a best in slot, non-degradable option for training strength for any 75 attack build, the Void Waker has a never before seen special attack, Disrupt. Disrupt costs 60% special attack energy and deals guaranteed magic damage between 50 to 150% of your melee max hit. We lied about the never before seen thing. It's Karasi's sword with a fresh lick of paint to fit a little better within Old School, and without all those pesky skilling requirements too. Of course, Karasi's sword reputation as a so-called spec weapon is pretty infamous. We'd like to make clear that we're not planning on adding any item similar to the Ring of Vigor in RuneScape from 2010, which reduced the special attack cost of Karasi's sword and increased its power significantly. Here's a graph showing how the Void Waker's DPS stacks up against other tier 75 weapons. That about wraps it up for the Wilderness Boss rework proposal. This is a pretty significant shift and we're excited to share it with you all and see what you think. We've included a short survey to give you a chance to share your initial thoughts on this pitch. just click the button below to get started. Guys, if you have any comments or anything about this, any ideas, anything, click this and share. Thank you guys for watching this video and playing this game, and yeah, just being part of my small community. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I am so excited. What a time to be alive. Mwah.